Imagine a person you cannot just reach that easily. He has security, a driver, closed-door meetings, encrypted chats, connections, money, influence. But he makes one mistake. He carries a phone with him, and if that phone is infected, it is over. You do not need to break down the door. You do not need to bribe security. You do not need to place a camera in the room. The camera is already there. The microphone is already there. GPS is already there. The message archive is already there. The contact list is already there. Everything is already sitting in his pocket. Only one thing is needed: access. The name of this program is Pegasus, and this is not an ordinary virus. This is not some cheap Trojan, not a program some kid downloaded from a forum. Pegasus is military-grade spyware, a commercial product, built for targeted hunting. But to understand why Pegasus became a legend of digital surveillance, we need to go back. The year was 2010. Israel, NSO Group. It was founded by Niv Karmi, Shalev Julio, and Omri Levi. According to Forbidden Stories, Karmi was responsible for the technical side, while Julio and Levi handled the business side. The name NSO itself is linked to the founders' names. The official idea sounded perfect. Governments needed a tool against terrorists, against cartels, against kidnappers, against people who use modern phones, encryption, and messengers to hide. On paper, everything looked clean. Pegasus was supposed to help catch dangerous people, stop crimes. But there is a problem. When you create a tool that can silently open someone else's phone, you are not just creating a program, you are creating power. And power always looks for places to use itself. At first they tell you, this is only against terrorists. Then, this is against threats to the state. And then, under the word threat, journalists start to fall in. Human rights defenders, lawyers, opposition figures, people who simply know too much. The first major public blow to Pegasus came in 2016. Name: Ahmed Mansoor, a human rights defender from the UAE, a man who wrote about torture, arrests, and repression. One day, he received an SMS. The message contained a link. The text promised to reveal secrets about torture in UAE prisons. An ordinary person might have clicked. Mansoor did not click. He sent the message to researchers, and that is where the exposure began. Citizen Lab found that the links were connected to NSO Group infrastructure and Pegasus, spyware sold as a government-exclusive lawful intercept product. That is why this case matters so much. Mansoor was not a terrorist. He did not command an army. He was not hiding a bomb. He spoke, and that turned out to be enough. A year later, in 2017, Ahmed Mansoor was arrested. In 2018, a court in the UAE upheld his 10-year sentence. Human Rights Watch described him as an award-winning human rights activist. Amnesty and other human rights organizations later wrote that he had been held in solitary confinement for years. Then the story gets even darker. Canada. The year was 2018. Omar Abdulaziz, a Saudi dissident, a popular critic of the regime. Living in Canada, thinking he is far away. But distance no longer protects you. Citizen Lab concluded with high confidence that Abdulaziz's phone had been infected with Pegasus by an operator linked to Saudi Arabia. And this is where a name appears that the whole world knows. Jamal Khashoggi, a journalist for the Washington Post, a critic of Saudi power. A man who, in October 2018, walked into the Saudi consulate in Istanbul and did not come out alive. We need to be precise. There is no official proof that Pegasus killed Khashoggi. But Citizen Lab wrote that Abdulaziz was in contact with Khashoggi during the period when his phone was under surveillance. And that is already enough to understand the scale of the horror. Sometimes you do not need to hack the target's own phone. It is enough to hack the phone of someone nearby, a friend, a colleague, a source, an ally. And suddenly, An invisible map appears around the target. Who talks to whom? Who trusts whom? Who is planning what? Who is located where? Old espionage followed a person on the street. New espionage follows their circle through phones. This is no longer just hacking. This is hunting through digital traces. Pegasus is not a dead story. It still casts a shadow. And now the main question is, how good was Pegasus? The answer is simple. Good enough for Apple, WhatsApp, Citizen Lab, Amnesty, and the courts to spend years dealing with its traces. Good enough for a phone to be infected without the usual user mistake. Good enough for a person to click nothing and still become a target. In the WhatsApp case, there was talk of targeting roughly 1,400 users. In 2025, Reuters wrote that a U.S. federal court banned NSO from targeting WhatsApp, and the damages were reduced to roughly $4 million. But here is what is scarier than the court. Even if one path is closed, the market looks for another. Even if one exploit is blocked, a new one will appear. Even if Pegasus disappears tomorrow, the industry itself already exists. In March 2025, Amnesty reported that 2 burned journalists in Serbia had been targeted with NSO Group's Pegasus Spyware. So this is not a conversation about some ancient story from 2016. Cases like this were still appearing very recently. And in October 2025, TechCrunch reported that NSO Group confirmed its acquisition by U.S. investors. The company did not disappear. It changed. It moved into a new phase. If your phone is open, your life is open. Your conversations, your roots, your weaknesses, your connections, your fears. And one day, that can be used against you. This was the story of Pegasus. If you like documentary breakdowns like this, about cyber espionage, digital surveillance, spyware, leaks, and technologies that change real power, write in the comments what topic I should break down next. I read your ideas, and the next episode could be about your topic.